we discussed Sonic super forms, so now we're gonna give his friends a shot. So in this video, we're gonna go over the super forms of Sonic's friends. There's probably gonna be a part 3 to this where we go over the super forms for everyone else, but we're really gonna go over Sonic's friends, and by that I mean like the core cast. So Knuckles, Tails, Amy, and I thought I'd throw Shadow in here as well instead of getting his own video. We'll just throw him in here. So we're gonna go over the super forms for these 4, and then there's probably gonna be a part 3 where every other super form from every other piece of media gets talked about, and that's gonna be something. So let's start off with Knuckles, the one who really first got a super form here. So we have Super Knuckles, which first appeared in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Same thing, you get all the Chaos Emeralds. Super Knuckles is invincible, can run, glide, and climb faster. He has a whitish glow in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and in Sonic Mania, but in Superstars he just gets a golden kind of aura around him, which seems to be the new canonical fit for him, which is, and you're going to see it for everyone else too, that they don't actually get the full like physical transformation like Sonic, or Sonic gets, you know, the gold quills and everything. They just get like a gold aura around them, and then they pretty much stay the same. So Super Knuckles apparently can command ultimate power and has access to unlimited energy. His strength has been enhanced, and he can throw punches so powerful that he creates fireballs which explode upon impact. Knuckles also becomes fast enough to keep up with Super Sonic, who can move at the speed of light. So yeah, this is just Super Knuckles, right? It's the general what you would assume a super form for Knuckles would be. His strength's increased, everything's increased. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy there for Super Knuckles. Knuckles, though, like Sonic, can go one step above. He can be Hyper. Hyper Knuckles first appeared in Sonic 3 and Knuckles as well. Same thing, you just get all the Super Emeralds, right? And Hyper Knuckles has a pinkish glow, which has just been attributed by the fandom as he's pink, right? Like, this is when he gets the full physical transformation, and he just becomes like a pink Knuckles, which I'm fine with. That seems to be what a lot of various corners of media do with Hyper Knuckles. Hyper Knuckles can perform a shockwave attack that causes a sudden earthquake and destroys all the badniks, and he can now also breathe underwater, which is the most important thing. When you're playing a level, the most important thing is, can I survive underwater? So Hyper Knuckles, there we go. So like Sonic, Knuckles can go hyper, and Hyper Knuckles has appeared in Archie as well. However, it is important to note, and I put this here, this is the only reason we're talking about it, is Hyper Knuckles in Archie is actually just his super form. They just call it Hyper Knuckles. So in Archie, Hyper Knuckles is the same as Super Sonic, right? They just call him Hyper Knuckles to be different, right? Not instead of just Super Knuckles, he's Hyper Knuckles just to be different, and this is where he gets, like, you know, he just turns pink and everything, which I'm fine with as well. I'm really fine with Hyper Knuckles just being, this is what Knuckles' super form is. But speaking of Archie, they gave Knuckles his own transformation, his own form, Chaos Knuckles. It's the green Knuckles. You've all seen him, but you don't know about him. And there is oh god, there's so much about him. Okay, so we're gonna do a bit of a lore dump on Chaos Knuckles here. So he first appeared in Sonic issue 90. He is an evolution that had been engineered by his father Locke, who did genetic self-experimentation and the infusion of Knuckles' egg with massive amounts of chaos energy. Okay, so right there I gotta explain this. So Locke is Knuckles' father. That's the name of his dad. And all echidnas in Archie are hatched from eggs. So what Locke did is he just, infused Knuckles' egg with massive amounts of chaos energy. Knuckles evolved beyond the scale of any other echidna into a virtual living Chaos Emerald. Yup. Chaos Knuckles. Let's see here. Here, he has a direct connection to the Chaos Force, stronger than that of any other known living being. Chaos Knuckles possesses abilities beyond those of any previous Guardian and virtually any other wielder of such power. So Guardian in Archie is he's the guardian of the echidnas. right? Like, he's like their champion, their protector. In addition to the enhanced physical abilities, he can shoot lasers from his eyes or hands, unleash energy blasts from his body, and teleportation abilities. Chaos Knuckles can also travel through time and alter it to his will, communicate with other guardians living or dead, warp reality to shape matter. Yeah. He used this to conjure a bouquet for Julie Sue. Julie Sue was Knuckles' life partner because echidnas have one partner who they mate for life, and Julie Sue was his. He has obviously the same base powers. You know, he can glide, climb, all that stuff. Manipulate chaos energy to a much greater degree and level than any had ever seen before. Chaos Knuckles' power continued to rise with each passing moment. He was described as being in a constantly evolving state. And the Dark Legion deemed Chaos Knuckles a danger to the very existence of reality. Oh, Jesus Christ. So this guy's God. He is God. I mean, just describing him as he's a literal living Chaos Emerald. Goddamn. So yeah, Chaos Knuckles. Chaos Knuckles did end up dying. I kid you not. Knuckles died in the Archie comics for a bit. And then he came back. Yeah, it was a whole thing. The Knuckles series is... It's a freaking trip, man. I cannot wait till, like, the day when I finally get to do the video going through the Archie Knuckles story. It's bonkers. It's absolute bonkers. Ken Penders was on one when he was writing the Knuckles story, dude. Holy crap. But that's Chaos Knuckles. He's the green Knuckles. You've seen the art of him. Now you know a bit about him. This dude's God. This dude's God. So that's Knuckles. So let's move on to Tails. So we have Hyper Tails. So Tails is very different. He got his hyper form first in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. He was not able to go super. He only was able to go hyper, which was weird. So his body just kind of like, you know, glows normal because it's kind of hard to, I guess, demonstrate Tails going hyper. But he had flickies surrounding him. That was how you found out Tails went hyper. Flickies surrounded him. Hyper Tails was known as Super Tails in the original releases, but they have since changed that. Especially in Sonic Origins, Super Tails, when you get the Super Emeralds, is now Hyper Tails. So they've changed that now because there now is a Super Tails. But originally, Tails could only go hyper. That is very interesting. We would not allow our little boy to go super. That's crazy. Super Tails. Now, his first appearance can be argued. Some will say Heroes, some will say Mania. The reason it is said as Heroes is because of, you know, the final battle, right? Sonic goes supersonic, and then Knuckles and Tails end up in, like, a ball of golden energy, and that's supposed to be them in a super form. I don't count that at all as them in a super form. To me, the super form is like you transform. You're not just in a ball because Sonic decided I'm going to share power with you. No, you have to actually transform. So to me, his first appearance is Mania, which canonically would take place before Heroes. So that's how I fix it. But Super Tails, he's got everything. Invisibility, increased running and flying speed, and enhanced jump. It's just super form, right? But here's where Tails gets a bit different. Turbo Tails from Archie. So first appearing in Sonic number 56, unlike most other super forms, Tails does not go through a physical appearance. He just gets a red cape on his back. He's a superhero. Tails possesses a direct link to the Chaos Force, allowing him to manipulate Chaos energy to achieve the feats, like everyone does, right? According to Merlin Prower, who is Tails' uncle, who legitimately looks like Merlin from Arthurian lore. Yes, he does. Turbo Tails' strength and abilities far exceed both Supersonic and Hyper Knuckles, as he was the one intended to be the one to defeat Chaos Knuckles. The Archie lore just gets crazier and crazier every day. But that's Turbo Tails. I love the name of Turbo Tails for Tails of Super Form. You call it because of the alliteration, right? Super Sonic, Super Shadow, Turbo Tails, Blaze and Blaze. The alliteration. That's what I need. So, while I don't think I ever need the whole he's, stronger than Super Sonic and Hyper Knuckles thing to come back, I think the idea of his name, just the name Turbo Tails, I like. The red cape, that's whatever. I'll take it or leave it. But it's funny, right? He's got the red cape. He's a superhero. Oh, I almost forgot. This is a little edit I'm making here because how could I forget Tails' other Archie form, Titan Tails. You've seen this. You have seen this around the internet, and you probably have no idea what this is from. It's from Archie. Titan Tails. Titan Tails. Tails became Titan Tails for the sole purpose to defeat Mammoth Mogul, who is a villain in the Archie comics. Mammoth Mogul, he's an entire different beast. But anyway, Tails became Titan Tails to defeat Mammoth Mogul. How did Tails achieve this form, you are asking? He fused together with multiple parallel versions of himself and became this. This was the reason Tails became Titan Tails, was because there was a prophecy that Tails would stop Mammoth Mogul. I kid you not, dude. I kid you not. Well, it wasn't actually to stop Mammoth Mogul. Actually, the prophecy was actually to stop Chaos Knuckles. I talked about this earlier. And my God, man. What were we thinking? What were we thinking? So in this form, Tails has powerful cosmic energy, which has been known to shoot beams out of his eyes. Tails has greater knowledge of the universe's workings and can manipulate the fabric of reality. He is able to absorb the power of others and make them his own, like what he did with Master Mogul, which is Mammoth Mogul's super form, which we'll talk about in the next video. After taking away Master Mogul's power, Zonic the Zone Cop, who is an entirely other character, remarked that Titan Tails was the ultimate power in the multiverse. Oh my God. Yeah. It's oh my God, dude. I just look at him. Look at him. Who thought this was a good idea? He's meant to be the the end of this arc, right? Of the Chosen One prophecy, with the ancient walkers and all this stuff, right? Like that's what Tails is supposed to be. This is supposed to be the end of all that. And he looks like this, and you thought this was the form to go with. I just don't know what you're thinking. That's Tails. That is Tails. We have Amy, who does not have a bunch. She's just got the regular super and hyper. Amy, for the longest time, never had a super form. And that has only been rectified recently by Sonic Origins, where when you play as Amy, you get the Chaos Emerald, she goes super, Hyper Emerald, she goes hyper, right? But I'm not choosing to count Hyper Amy as canon. It's more of a gameplay element than anything, because she's not in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That is just a gameplay mechanic that, hey, you can play as Amy in this now. And she really only went first canonically super. The only time that's possible is Sonic Superstars. So, yeah, because the stuff in Origins, it's mainly just gameplay fun. Like, hey, you can play as classic Amy now. Isn't that cool? So it made sense that they be like, yeah, she can also go hyper and super as well. Makes sense. There was a debate for the longest time that the reason Amy wasn't given a super form was because she was a girl, which I think is a stupid debate. It's because she wasn't in any game or had an important role to warrant going super. Like, what, we're just gonna throw them out? Super forms are supposed to be like the moment where it's like, oh my god, they've gone super. It's serious now. It's like, at what point in any game was Amy ever in a position where her going super was justified and warranted? It wasn't. That's the reason. It's not because she's a girl, despite what narrative a lot of these Sonic fans will try to put on you. That's not the reason. The reason is because she wasn't in a position to get a super form. And then finally in Superstars, she was in a canonical, story-driven reason to get a super form. And finally, we've got Shadow. Edgy the Hedgy himself. His first super form was in his first appearance, Super Shadow in Sonic Adventure 2. Shadow's fur becomes golden. It's more like a light gold, because Sonic is gold. So Shadow is like a white kind of thing, right? Shadow's chaos powers are enhanced to their full limit in his super state, enabling him to put far more power and range into his attacks. He can freely perform an advanced version of Chaos Control. His Chaos Spear's power has been greatly amplified, reaching the point where he can fire it rapidly in succession. He can charge up his Chaos Spears for even more power. He can also use a variant of the Chaos Spear called the Spear of Light, where he launches an onslaught of red spears with enough force to penetrate Solaris, and he can utilize an enhanced version of Chaos Blast. So Super Shadow he's everything you saw in the Sonic reboot. This man is going nuts. So, I don't think I really need to talk too much about Super Shadow. You get the basic gist, right? When I say this person has super form, you kind of get the basic gist of it. But Shadow has two other forms here. Hero and Dark. Hero Shadow, who appeared in Shadow 05, has a blue aura around him. So Shadow doesn't go through a full transformation, he just gets a blue aura around him. This is achieved when Shadow's mind is filled by thoughts of justice, and once obtained grants him full control over the positive chaos energy, which I think people forget. There is two forms of chaos energy, positive and negative. They explain this in Sonic Adventure. Chaos was able to become perfect chaos from taking the negative energy of the Chaos Emeralds, and Sonic was able to become Super Sonic to fight him by taking the positive energy of the Chaos Emeralds. So when Shadow taps into the positive energy, he becomes Hero Shadow. While in this form, Shadow becomes invincible and can perform a large-scale version of Chaos Control to fly forward at breakneck speeds or slow down time. He can use any weapon without draining its ammunition. That's just a gameplay mechanic. There's Hero Shadow, and then of course there is Dark Shadow, which also first appeared in Shadow 05. This is during the opening cutscene, when you see the bit where Shadow just like, he's full of rage and he gets like the red blast and everything. That's Dark Shadow. So, it is the opposite of Hero Shadow. It is achieved when Shadow's mind is fueled by thoughts of vengeance and tapping into the negative powers of the Chaos Emerald. While in this form, Shadow becomes invisible and can use Chaos Blast, as well as use any weapon without draining its ammunition, which is just gameplay mechanics. So there we go. We have the forms there. Knuckles, Tails, Amy, and Shadow. My favorite Knuckles form. I like the Archie idea that Hyper Knuckles is just what you call his super form, and I like the idea of Turbo Tails. Like Tails' super form is just called Turbo Tails. The cape, let's give him the cape, whatever. Amy, she's just got the regular two, Super and Hyper. I mean, the fact she can go Hyper and anyway is crazy, but whatever for Amy. And then Shadow, he's the same. He's got Super Shadow. That's what we know. That's his big one. And then Hero and Dark. I'm not counting Doom Shadow with the Doom wings or anything. I'm not going to count that, because that's just latent powers that he already had were just fully unlocked by Black Doom. And then when Black Doom died again, they went away. So Shadow can always do that. He just has to unlock the powers again. So there we go. That's part 2 of this whole super form discussion debate thing that we've got going on. Part 3, where we will go through literally everyone else. That is going to be a long video. Help me God. So, let me know what you guys think about all these people's super forms in the comments down below. And I'll see you all next time.